We have just recorded a podcast from Daniel's house on the biggest day of his adult life. Scotland are about to play in a major tournament for the first time since Daniel was 7 years old. He's very excited about it. So I came over and we got this podcast in the can before any dreams are ruined or before the wheels come off the bus, if it goes well. So enjoy the podcast, check in on the result just to see how it went. And thank you to everybody who signed up to Patreon. You've driven the podcast, you've gotten it this far, so thank you for all of the support, and to everybody else that's listening to this on Spotify or iTunes or Podbean. Consider signing up to our Patreon, get an extra episode every week and some other bonus stuff, and enjoy.
Sloss and Humphreys on the road.
Muggins and cream and Muggins, straight thuggin', living the dream.
And that's our intro.
Fucking Muggles.
Tickling the clit inside your head that makes you laugh. They said it can't be done.
Are we in the same seats?
That's hack.
Ah, Muggles.
Accidental rim job in the park.
Kiss, kiss, kiss.
Or am I just being cynical?
Muggled it up on fucking Mugglepedia.
Where have you been since 9/11?
You arrived late and didn't do your homework, didn't you?
Have you started the podcast where I'm making me dad jokes?
Just saying. You arrived late. You arrived late.
Oh,
You arrived late, and you hadn't done your homework.
fucking
If this was,
teacher's
been
pet here.
Nah, not the teacher. No. You know what? Turning up at school at time doesn't mean you're teacher's pet. It just makes you a student. Like if you turn up early, you're a teacher's pet.
Miss Kai's late.
You were late.
Fucking mate, I got smashed yesterday.
Uh-huh.
Aye, but it's the Euros and there's a football game on. And by the way, Merry Christmas.
Aye.
This is probably the biggest day of your life since I've known you. And I have been with you the day of your first ever DVD recording.
Yeah.
When I ran into your room and jumped on your bed and banged my head on the ceiling. Remember that?
Oh, yeah.
Where you were like, here's a camera, if you wake up before me, it doesn't matter if you're different, but if you wake up before me, come and get a video of you waking us up, just in case we do any kind of like bonus footage.
Did I ask that?
You were 19.
Oh, okay.
You know, you're a bit of a muggle. I hadn't discovered what muggles are yet.
But when
I hadn't self-reflected on this.
But what bed was I in? Because I wasn't living at
You were-
Carscube then.
You were at Garscube because you were in the room that I would normally have been in, and you lived with Ali.
Aye.
So you were in the room that I stayed in because you hadn't turned the downstairs living room into your room yet. So, pure low ceiling.
Aye, it was. It was an underground dungeon of sex and drugs.
Aye. And then I took it over. And it became a church. So I was like, oh, I'm up shop. I'm thinking he's up yet. And I set the camera away and I ran into a room and I jumped on the bed as if it was like we're just children on Christmas morning.
Aye.
Like I would have been with 25, 26. He would have been with 19, 20.
Aye.
I fucking jumped on your bed. Instantly, first bounce hit the ceiling in the head.
To be fair, I bet that cheered me up to no end. Like you in physical pain would have been like, that's better than coffee for me.
Well, you didn't see me jump on the bed above your head. You just woke up to me lying in your bed groaning. You were like, what happened last night?
Do you not fucking remember so when I got for the recording of Dark, once we got the Netflix deal, obviously Jigsaw had still been had been filmed in Australia, so that was already, but Dark was the one that we had to film afterwards, and it was in LA.
Yeah.
And flew you out because I wanted you there because it was obviously a big moment in my life. But like this was like, so obviously because this is the Netflix recording, this is pre-Netflix, so my financials were very, very different. So you, me, my mum, my dad, and Marlena all had to share one fucking like 2-bedroom apartment.
Yes.
Right? So my mum and dad were obviously in a bed together because I think they've earned that right after all these times.
I disputed that for ages. I didn't think that was fair.
You're like, Martin, come on.
I got to share a room with Daniel and you two get to share a bed.
Marlena was on the couch in the living room and you and me were sharing a bed and we went out, and obviously the night before we get a little bit stoned or whatever because we're in LA and it's legal, and you fucking snored all night. And I remember, I'm like, it's my Netflix recording today. I kept trying to fucking roll you over. You're like, oh, sorry, mate. Straight back down. And then I got like 3 or 4 hours of very interrupted sleep.
You know, it's totally bullshit for you. Is Natalie said it was the other day, she was like, I'm so glad you don't snore. Mm-hmm. And this is somebody that shares a bed with us all the time.
Aye.
I'm so glad you don't snore. Yeah, you say I snore, which means I only snore for you.
Or she's a heavy sleeper.
Or it's when I'm cunted.
Aye.
And I spend more time cunted when we share a room. Like, we're not
Aye.
sharing a room on moments where we're not getting fucking hammered or whatever.
Yeah, I don't think we've...
Sober shared a room.
I don't think we've ever sober shared... Kai, I know you're staying over tonight, but what's my girlfriend called? Cara.
She's not even mad that you forgot her name. She's mad that you're some girlfriend when she listens to this.
I keep fucking doing that on stage. I keep just calling her my girlfriend. I'm just...
that takes a while.
But it's also because, like, I proposed to her during COVID, and you don't really meet new people during COVID, so at no point am I like, this is my fiance.
You're not introducing her.
Aye, so normally whenever I've introduced Cara to someone, I've introduced her as my girlfriend, and it's only now that I'm doing stand-up again, and I'm talking about my relationship, that I have to go, oh yeah, no, my fucking fiance. But I hate saying fiance on stage just because...
You know, it's just one of them French words that doesn't have a translation. Like, I don't like saying bureau de charge. You know what I mean?
No, it's just the fact that it's just like... It's one of those fucking, everyone just gives it a round of applause, and you're like, she might be abusive. Like, don't... like, I might have been gaslit into this. This might have been blackmail. Who knows what's going on here? But they're just... You get that fucking...
Yeah, the amount of engagements that you broke up with Jigsaw.
Aye.
Like, they would have gotten a round of applause too, even though they clearly didn't work.
Aye. And also, that's the other reason, the amount of fucking people that watch Jigsaw and absolutely missed the fucking point, where they're just like, it's an anti-relationship special, it's anti-love, and I'm like, there is literally a 3-minute rant in there how I talk about that I know that love is real.
Like, this Jigsaw piece fits, that's the point in the Jigsaw.
I know, but I don't want to say that on stage because that's fucking...
It is gay.
Aye, it's just... But, like, gay in like the good way. The reason it's gay is because it's really open and kind and honest and emotionally available. It's gay.
Yeah, you should be celebrating that.
Aye.
You should be celebrating
but
it.
But
there's still a toxic part of you that's like, I don't want to seem to be open and...
Aye, there really is. But it's I mean, it's our fault that it's ingrained to ourselves. Well, I mean, obviously you pick up that fucking, using... that term in a disparaging way when you're in primary school and high school.
It's recognising that sort of stuff in you as well. You know, it's something I recognise in myself all the time that's sexist, right? Is I could have 2 friends that are married, right? And I'll often in conversation refer to one of them as my friend's wife. She's my friend too.
Aye.
She's sometimes my friend more
than the other
But it's almost like me psychology defaults as to boys are friends.
Yeah, boys are friends, and every girl I know, I keep at an arm's distance because I've only got the one close to me, and that is my wife, who is my property, I may add.
Yeah. And like, you sometimes have to unpick that psychology from yourself, and it's like fucking... It's like society's fault, but you're part of society, so it's also your fault, and you've got to be the change.
Aye, I do. I do find myself. My thing with like the homophobic terms is that's a very fine line of like, I know I use homophobic words in private to my gay friends.
Aye.
Like, and I just
you are the heterosexual version of a white guy who's got far too many black friends and got comfortable.
Aye, yeah.
Got comfortable in the culture and just adopted the terminologies that aren't yours.
And then occasionally it slips out on a podcast or when I'm speaking, and then it's this sort of thing where it's like, I can't justify the use of it. It's a horrible... if you grew up fucking gay in high school and you hear all these people just throwing it around as a fucking insult, at the age of 30, I'm still contributing that. But that's because
you've got a bunch of guys who have given you a pass, and the pass just doesn't extend outside of that group. You're like flashing that pass in other groups.
Aye. So
you got your gay card, and I've got a gay card.
What I'm trying to say is it's gay people's fault that I say homophobic things.
Yes. Yes.
And you know what? If you poofs could just rein it in for a bit, maybe I'd be more progressive.
Just be stricter.
Aye, come on,
Calm down.
Stop letting me get Reese Nicholson. Stop letting me call you faggot, for the love of God. Stop it. I shouldn't be allowed to. It makes me. I just get too confident with it. Also, that's the reason, obviously, historically, faggot is a horrible word.
Yeah, I think you need to suck a dick now, by the way. You need to earn your right. So even just now in that podcast, in this context, you like, what I'm saying is, on this fly.
I'm not going to suck a straight dick. That's not reparations. Like, if I have to suck a dick for every time I'm homophobic, I'm going to suck gay people's dicks. Like that, they're the ones I'm apologising to. Maybe that is the way. Maybe that is the way it should work. Like if a homophobic thing slips out of my mouth in company in front of a gay person who's not given me the gay pass, I've got to. Well, not a blowjob. Can I give them a wristy? Because I'm not going to be, and that's for them. I'm not going to be good at sucking dick, but I'll wank them off like nothing else.
Would your heart be in it though? Would you be like looking away in that?
You know what? If it was,
would you be giving them prostitute love?
If it's a rule I've made for myself, and it is, and I'm treating it as reparations. When I'm just like, I'm really sorry I used this term. And obviously
So every time a homophobic thing slips out of your mouth, the homosexual thing has to slip into your mouth.
Yes. That's the rules, aye.
It's one in, one out.
It's a nightclub policy. But yeah, man, I
you are wearing the right shoes and they are wonderful.
I think I would be very, very, like if a gay guy was just like, I was genuinely very, very upset by you using that term in front of me and just me grovelly apology. And he's like, but to be honest with you, I'm a fan and I'll forgive you if you give me a hand job. I wouldn't look at him.
Nah.
Left
hand?
What, make it feel like someone else is doing it? Maybe we should just do this with everything. Now every time I say something sexist, I have to do something nice for Cara. Or my mum, or just
give her a wristy. Every time you do something sexist, every time I refer to one of my friends as my friend's wife. I've got a finger blast, Natalie.
Or your friend's wife, if that's okay with them, because again, it's the person you insulted that deserves the.
And it's also the person you're fingering that gives you the permission.
Of course. That's the consent's always important through all of this. By the way, we're not just dishing out second base without making sure.
I'm snotting. I took a drink of my water, and I didn't want to laugh me water all over your tech.
So you can use those antibacterial wipes if you want.
You know what my granddad used to call his shiny sleeves, and as an ode to Grandad Pete. No, well, he's not. So I'm gonna.
Don't talk while you're away from the mic. I'll talk while you're away from the mic.
I'm gonna track this conversation back because, on the note of fiancé, I was also there on the day that you proposed, right? So I was there on your DVD. As you mentioned, I was there recording your Netflix.
Aye.
I was there when you got the message when we were in Sofia. And we're backstage in Bulgaria.
What about the Netflix?
And you got the Netflix special confirmed. It's all signed. It's in the bag, right? And you, that was a big day for you. You cried like a baby. You were like, I got the Netflix special.
It was when me and Cara were like, we were still like shagging in secret because of the whole, family situation. And it was like, because we spent so much of the start of it, we were just fuck buddies. Nothing's going to happen with this. This is like, doesn't matter. Like, we can do this because there's no future in this. So there's not going to be any ramifications or consequences. And then I started developing feelings. I don't know if I started developing feelings before she did, but I started developing them way more openly. I was much more open with her, where she was like, what are you doing? Why do you keep coming around to my house when I'm on my period? Like, that's not... that's outside the time. What are you doing? Yeah. Like, it's...
Like, you're sharing, like, moments with me in text messages.
Yeah.
This isn't flirting. This is confiding.
Aye. So, apparently, I phoned her, and I told her about the Netflix too, and she was just dead happy. She hung up the phone. She was like, I have no fucking idea why you told me that. Well, bitch, it's because one day it would pay for your house.
And then, because she was... You didn't, even though you would have had a +1, you didn't bring out to my wedding because it was still under wraps then. Like, it was quite, quiet at the time.
Aye.
Like, I knew you were meeting up with her, but I didn't know how quite seriously you were taking her. But you give, like, a blow-by-blow account of the wedding to her on the text, and I didn't even realise that you were, like, relaying it back to her.
All the time, because I sent her the videos of, there's so many good videos from that wedding. There's the one, I think it's like the day after. Oh, no, it must have been the day before your wedding. We'd all gone out for a big meal down the beach somewhere. And there's a video of me and Cullen doing the spaghetti scene from Lady and the Tramp.
Tramp and the Tramp. But with like one of them, not a spaghetti, but like a twisted fusilli.
And Cullen's neck rotates all the way. You know how like owl heads turn 360 like round horizontally.
His doesn't.
It's dead weird. It's something to do with like his snake-like neck that can happen.
So yes, I was there on the morning you proposed. when you got your Netflix special, the DVD deal, you record your Netflix, all the big moments in your life.
The day I got engaged.
I mentioned that.
Yeah, oh, so,
that was
sorry,
the first one off the bat. I feel like this is the biggest day in your life since I've known you.
Aye. Scotland versus the Czech Republic.
Scotland versus Czech Republic. I'm fucking stoked for it.
I know, and again, for people that think this is going to be football chat, this is, but it's also not. We're not going to go into like analysis of this, but just to give a backstory, Scotland have not qualified for a major tournament since I was
1998.
1998 when we were in the World Cup.
You were 7.
Yeah,
probably not even football sentient, like aware that something was happening.
I was I remember the games because we had a French au pair. Now, the audience there didn't see
There's another one like Bureau de Charge and Fiancé. Oh, thank you. We had an au pair, but it wasn't really an au pair. My mum, because she does so much stuff with the UN and she works with so many people from around the world, she really got on with this French guy. And he was like, my son is 17 and he's doing English at university in Paris and he needs to do like a couple months abroad in the UK to learn English and to do better in English. So this 17-year-old, right, who was living in France as they were the host nation for the World Cup that they went on to win, got shipped out to Scotland.
Yep.
Wow.
He comes over. So
worst parents ever.
Aye. But he's got to get his fucking degree. He comes over, and it's because Josie was still around then, right? So my mum just needed a little bit of extra help around the house. Now, Cedric, his name was, from my memory, I think he was quite good with Josie. My mum talks about how useless he was at some points, but he was a nice person.
He puppeteer.
I just fucking weekend at Barney's with her. He was I fucking hated the cunt, right? Because he would cook the worst food, and he would cook like French style. He would make us go down to the beach and pick up the fucking little fucking sea snails.
Periwinkles.
Aye. And they would come back and cook that at 9 p.m. past my fucking bedtime. So I would just be starving all the time. And then whenever he fucking did cook, it was all this fucking shite stuff. He wasn't a real pair.
That's a wild move for a 17-year-old. That's like a proper granddad move, that. Like, my granddad would do stuff like that and get me dad to do it. But, like, for a child, optionally, because he's a child.
Aye.
To optionally
but
get.
to me, he was such an adult.
Yeah.
So that was when the France World Cup was on. Scotland's first game was against Brazil. Brazil scored first in the 4th minute. Scotland got a penalty still in the fucking first half, and I think it was John Collins that scored it. And then Brazil went on to win it 2-1. But that Scotland versus Brazil, for us to even
lose. As a 7-year-old, you're aware of Brazil.
Man, I was technically a Brazil fan because like
R9.
Yeah, like fucking like old Ronaldo. Yeah. Fucking
so that would have been like Rivaldo, Cafu.
Yes.
Yeah, Romario. That would have been that, right? Am I going too far back?
No. I'm pretty sure you're right. And then our second game was against Norway, where it was 1-1. So it was a draw, and then we lost fucking 3-0 to Morocco. So the last time I saw Scotland in any major tournament, we still didn't win anything. I've only ever seen Scotland draw in a major fucking tournament. And now, against all fucking odds, after being so close to qualifying for years and years, Scotland are just consistent underachievers. We just never ever gel. It never works. We fuck up. We lose games against like fucking Kazakhstan and fucking
you play Israel every week.
Every fucking time.
Every week.
And now after fucking 23 years of how we're in this fucking cup, and we've got like a really tough group because it's England and it's World Cup finalist Croatia, who looked, I mean, congratulations on England winning, but Croatia looked crap.
Yeah, we managed them well. I feel, and they're an agent team from when they got to the final of the World Cup. Their best players have got older. Some of them aren't even there anymore, and some of them have lost their legs.
It fills me with a little bit of confidence just seeing how they were playing yesterday. It doesn't fill me with confidence for fucking playing against you guys, but legitimately, all I want out of this fucking tournament is
a goal.
Yeah.
Just a goal to celebrate.
I want
to take the lead at some point.
Oh man, I need to be. Obviously, I want to get out of the group. Obviously, I want to get out of the group.
3 points a day would be fucking mint.
It would change the rest of my week for sure.
It would change the complexion of the game against England. Because it would take any kind of pressure off having to get something from it. It's a big day for you today, like, and I'm buzzing for you. I really am. It's fucking exciting.
I'm so so fucking nervous, and like we've started like a little side group where it's just me, Gareth, and Mark Nelson, and we've let Cullen in because
honorary.
Aye, and
Ireland haven't got a horse in the race.
man, Nelson is terrified. Like we're all just in there. Like it must be great to be an England fan in the sense that like, and the reason we laugh at you consistently when you go out of competitions is because you go into every competition going, we're brilliant and we're going to win this, and we like watching you go from up here to the sudden crushing reality, whereas we come at it from the fucking polar opposite side of, man, a draw would be sick.
Yeah.
Like I'd love an own goal for Czech Republic just to see us through.
Aye, I just want to see a couple of corners. So last night, I was with you in the morning. We played 5-a-side with
7-a-side, aye.
7-a-side with on the AstroTurf, while the Geordie boys, who are now aged,
And even though they're all like, I think I was the youngest person on the pitch
by quite some way.
Aye. How old's
Connor?
Yes,
young Connor's. Actually, he's younger than you.
Okay.
You're the same. You're the same like,
Right.
school, as
Aye.
him, maybe.
No, I've not played any form of football in about, I'm going to say 5 or 6 years.
But Connor, like yourself, was brought in as a ringer. He didn't really play. He didn't play for the same pub team as I did. So that was so fucking like nostalgic for me, man. Like because I played with them lads when they were young men, when they were like in their early 20s, and we played for the same pub team.
Was your pub team any good?
Aye, we done alright.
Aye.
Yeah, we got promoted one year. We got to a cup final.
Aye.
Aye, we're good.
Did you lose the cup final?
Huh?
Did you lose the cup
We
final?
lost to the Golden Eagle, who are rival, like at Derby.
Oh,
I mean,
shit.
no, Derby's really in pub football, but it was a Derby in that, like, it was people from our friends group that didn't play for our team.
What was the score?
It was like, huh?
What was the score?
And people 1-0.
Oh, that sucks. That's not great.
So,
I fucking made you yesterday.
huh?
I made you yesterday.
You know what? I'm going to give you it.
Because it happened.
I'm going to give you it, right? You went to make a pass, and I fucking dived in, right? And it hit. This is why I called it a half meg.
Aye.
Like, one of my feet wasn't on the ground. I blocked the pass, right? And it hit off the shin with the leg that I blocked, hit off my other shin and trickled through my legs. And the person that you were trying to pass to eventually collected it.
Aye.
I went, all right, I'll give you that. I'll give you that. It's a half nutmeg, but not the meg bit.
Wait, it made you nuts?
It was a nut. But it was just funny because they're all dads new, like they've all put on.
Whether they know it or not.
They've all put on a lot of timber. They've all got grey hair and that. And I was just like, it was just really like, it brought a tear to my eye a little bit. I was just like, look at all these. Like,
Who was the
proud of them all?
Who was the gargantuan boy, the massive lad?
Oh yeah, Kevin Smales. He was another ringer.
He's a lovely bloke. Like I've only met him a couple
he's huge,
times.
isn't he?
But he's a sweetheart. But man, he's
6'7".
Aye.
Right, I worked with him at the sports centre, so we saw him at the gig, and I invited him last minute to come join me to play football, right? Because I hadn't seen him for years, right? He's 6'7". He's a ex-world champion kickboxer. He's 44 now.
Aye.
And he played basketball like semi-professionally, I think. He could slam dunk. Like he didn't have to reach up very far. But he used to. When we worked at the sports centre, I used to practice with his ankle weights on.
Aye.
But he was always quite bandy. Like he was lanky, right?
Aye.
But now he's filled out.
Aye. So
As
now
he's
he's
got
just
older.
aye.
Now he's just a fucking giant.
Aye. I remember just fucking running up the pitch towards him and then just going, I don't know if I'll ever be able to get past this man.
Aye, yeah, he's the gentlest bloke, man. When you talk to him, he's such a sweetheart, Kev.
I think you have to be when you're that big. Like I just think, like if you've got like such a big physical presence, I imagine it must play in the back of your mind a lot, where you just go, man, even though I know I'm a sweetheart and I wouldn't hurt a fucking fly, and even though I am a fucking ex-world champion fucking kickboxer, people are still just going to be intimidated by my side, so I'm just going to have to be big and smiley and nice. And...
You know what gives me like an insight to what it's like to be in that sort of position? Perrin from the Wheel of Time books.
Aye.
He has to be gentle, otherwise he's too like intrusive.
Aye.
So he purposefully reins himself in, and like he's meek because he doesn't want to be intimidating. And it's funny, like watching that personality trait like developing him when he's.
Just so you can see the true mixing of me and Kai's personalities there. That was Kai making a Wheel of Time reference during a football talk.
We have range.
Aye.
We have range.
How far through the Wheel of Time are you now?
I'm still barely started book 4.
Alright, so for people that don't know any fucking non-nerds out there, but if you're interested in fantasy novels, I love reading fantasy. It's one of my favourite genres. But like the genuine best of all time, like really undisputably just because of the size of it and the story and just the universe, is the Wheel of Time books. They're
Robert Jordan and Brandon Sanderson.
Robert Jordan wrote the first, I think it was the first 12 he wrote, and then he was just old and he was sort of on his deathbed. And then Brandon Sanderson, who wrote the Mistborn series and the Stormlight Saga, which are again 2 other series I highly recommend to people if you want to get into fantasy novels. He sat beside Robert Jordan like on his deathbed, and Robert Jordan spoke about where he wanted it to go. Brandon Sanderson like learned to write in the style that Robert Jordan wrote as well, to keep a thing. And that could have gone wrong so fucking badly. Like
because I saw on Goodreads it's equally as high rated as like that. They're like, I'm sure it's like 4.8s and 4.9s across the whole series,
which is incredible because man, you know how precious nerds are about their thing.
Yeah.
You make one black stormtrooper in Star Wars and half the fucking community fucking flips off, right? The end of Game of Thrones, we all lost our minds and we'll never talk about it again because it was fucking dog shit. So many times fans just get pressure.
The community will just fucking fracture because of something that doesn't suit their narrative that they've built.
Yeah, you ruined it. You made this. I've not heard from anyone that's read the Wheel of Time's books anyone say that Brandon Sanderson didn't do a good job, which must be like for him as a fan of the books as well.
Yeah,
like fucking.
He must feel so accomplished.
Imagine that. Imagine Dave Chappelle's at his deathbed, right? And he goes, Kai, I need you.
Been doing the new season of the Dave Chappelle show. There's 2 episodes left.
There's 2 episodes left, and I need you to do the stuff. I need you to do all of my.
Yeah, you've got to do a true Hollywood story.
You've got to do the black racist routine. What's his name in that fucking sketch? It's something.
Is that the blind Ku Klux Klan leader? But nobody knows he's black because he's got the hood on.
Aye, so is
I haven't seen that in years.
So the Chappelle show's on Netflix.
What a sketch!
The Chappelle show's on Netflix now. And I went back to just watch a couple because I don't think I'd ever watched the full season. I'd fucking seen scenes from it. I didn't realise that sketch was in like episodes 1 of the Dave Chappelle show, and even before it, Dave Chappelle's he does some stand up in front of an audience and then introduces the sketches, and he just goes, I showed this sketch to a black friend of mine the other day, and he says he thinks it's going to set the black community back 25 years. So here it is.
And that's on his first episode. Oh no. So getting back to the Wheel of Time, playing football. Get this right. So we're watching the match with that. So that's what day that we've got planned for the first England game of the tournament. Right, play football with everybody. Go and get showered, have some food, meet outside. Which I can see why you didn't want to join to watch the football. Like you could not. That was your idea of hell.
Aye.
You know, the groups of tables of just fucking neck tattoos.
Aye.
And England tops and flags and people dressed as St. George and all that, right?
Aye, singing God Save the Queen.
Singing like German bombers in the air and all that, right? Like it's just... You know what though, right? I was dreading that there was going to be booing on the Take the Knee.
Aye.
Because you look around and you could just see a bunch of All Lives Matter statuses.
Aye.
In the room, right? And when the players took the knee, there was only clapping.
Yeah. But even
not everybody was clapping. There was people not clapping, right? But there was only clapping and there was no booing, and it made us proper pleased to be a Geordie.
Aye.
Because I saw in Middlesbrough when it was at the Riverside Stadium, the friendlies. There was booing in the stadium, and I was like, "Oh, is that how the North is?" Because like there's a lack of understanding or something. What the fuck? But I was really pleased because I would have profiled that crowd to have booed.
In Wembley Stadium, I think it was like at the start of the knee, there was some booing that was eventually drowned out.
And then they got drowned out
by the sounds of people cheering, which is great. All right, you think
the screws turning?
Aye,
screws turning. The people that are booing are going to feel isolated.
Aye, good. There you go. Like, aye.
So it made us think, like, as Natalie was just like, oh, all these men are disgusting. Like, you'd look around and they'd be like, taps are full, massive beer bellies tattooed and all that, right? And they're just like proud of looking gross, right? And Natalie was like looking around and going, oh, like Danny would hate this. This is his idea of hell and all that, right? But then it reminded us of I was chatting to Chris and Emma Ferguson, who come to the gig in Newcastle on Thursday, and they didn't come to the gig actually because it was sold out, but we had pints with them either side. I was chatting to them, and I met Emma on my Zante holiday in 2008, and I was there with the Ashton lads, which is like Ricketts and Soppert and that lot, Gav and that.
Aye, so the lowest of the low.
Aye, right. So we're on the flight, and her and her friend, there's just two of them going on holiday on the same flight as us, and they're like, oh my god, I can't. They're in the airport, they're like, I hope we're on the same flight as these lads.
Aye.
And then I get on the flight, and they're like, oh my fucking god, we're on the same flight as these cunts, we're absolute arseholes, right? And get to the transfer bus, and they're like, oh, they're on the same fucking transfer bus. So there's 7 hotels, it's not going to be our hotel. And they're like, oh my fuck, it's our hotel. Hated her from the inception of their holiday till the first morning of the holiday, and ended up still being best friends with her now. Like still like brought her now husband to my first ever gig because she stayed in touch with her. She found out I was going to do stand up. It wasn't my first gig; it was my first preview for my first ever Fringe show. So I met Chris because I started dating and coming to comedy gigs when we were dating. And then they've ended up getting so into comedy, like such like in the world that they're friends with Tom Stade, Barry Castanola, and just through coming to Punch Drunks and everything. That they go now drinking with like Greg Davies after Barry's opened for him, and that like that whole life is like their lifestyle is like around live events.
And comedy.
And meeting us on that holiday has actually been quite life changing for the pair of them. And they absolutely profiled us for a full 24 hours, thinking that we were absolute arseholes.
Aye. But were they wrong? Or did they just get used to your arseholery?
You tell me.
Well, as someone who's used to your arseholery, I think it's what I said.
So what I was getting at, Natalie, is like, Falina is, as a group, this room looks disgusting, but every one of these groups of tables could just be like a nice group of lads.
Aye. Could be.
But while there's a match on, and there's a little bit of tribalism, and they fucking tap into that part of their brain, arseholes.
Aye.
That's it. I become one of them. Because there was like a big group of them that were like leading all the chants and starting all the songs and everything right at the end. They were all like up on the tables, and I just went, I'm just gonna go and join them for a laugh, right? Like that's not the vibe I was feeling at the time. I was having a good laugh with my mates. We were quite subdued. We were maybe like a bit long in the tooth for the way these youngins were acting, right? But I just jumped up and got my top off and just mimicked them and stood on the table like waving my top around. I smashed my own pint in my face, but I was performing. I was performing for my group of mates on that table.
Allow me to parody this other table just for an audience of 17.
But the photos just show me, like, the photos don't show the context. And my mates were putting the photos of me topless, like, fucking screaming at the top of my lungs on a table, parodying these youngins. And it just looks earnest in the photos, like.
Not to change the subject too much. What does long in the tooth mean and why?
Well, I don't know the etymology, but what it means is like you're past it kind of thing.
Where does it come from? I'm going to guess.
Like you're
I'm going to guess horse. I'm going to.
What, the teeth get longer on an older horse?
Maybe.
Like they don't stop growing on a horse.
Aye, that's going to be my pulling out of my arse guess.
Right. Okay. I think like, that's a good shout because I kind of think any of the avenues that it could go down, and I wouldn't have actually thought of that one.
No.
But yeah, what it does mean is like, you know how you are a bit long on the tooth for staying up till 6 a.m. now. It is horses.
The phrase long in the tooth is believed to originate from horses, or more specifically horses' teeth, because the older a horse gets, the longer their teeth become. So it's possible to give an approximation for how old a horse is simply by looking at their teeth.
So yeah, if they just don't want to be ridden anymore and they're like not going to jump fences anymore, it's because they're long in the tooth.
Yeah, there you go. That's where that comes from. See, it's not just a football podcast. I mean, it's not, but that is one thing we have to sort of explain to the listeners of the podcast is there will be football chats occasionally.
It's the same as we talk about books, man. Like some people don't read that listen to this.
But there'll be some football chat until next Tuesday when Scotland are knocked out, and then we'll stop. Doesn't matter how far England get.
Just get on board with it for this point. There's a major tournament on.
Aye.
And Scotland are in it. So this is something football related, but not football related. So stay on it, people. Stay listening. My friend Kat, who I lived with, my friend Woodsy's girlfriend. Even though I met Woodsy through Kat 9 years after I first met her.
Oh, you mean Kat, my friend Kai's wife's friend?
Yes.
Yes, I know it. Yeah.
Natalie's friend Kat. my friend Kat. My friend Kat and Woodsy got back from the England game, right? It's like 8 o'clock.
Because for reference, game kicked off at 2?
The game kicked off at 2, right? So they get back, and as they're getting back, there's a builder there with his van and his wagon, right? We had to do a kitchen, right? And he's like, he had in the kitchen for you due tomorrow. He's like, no, it's today, 8 o'clock today. He's like, 8 o'clock tomorrow? And the fucking, having a back and forth again. Like, what the fuck's going on here? Yeah, he was like, no, we're expecting it tomorrow morning. He's like, no, it's this morning. And that's when the penny dropped. He went, no, it's this morning. He went, this morning? It's fucking 8 o'clock at night, man. This builder got cunted watching the match, right?
Aye.
They finished at like 4-ish, right?
Aye.
Passed out, blind drunk.
Aye.
Woke up, saw the daylight, looked at the clock. It's like nearly 8 o'clock.
I have 7.
Panicked, unknowingly drunk drive because he thought he'd been asleep for 12 hours.
Oh, God, I hadn't even considered that side of things. Yeah, shit, there you go.
Hoodwinked himself into drink driving and pulled up at this house and thought they were the mental one for saying that it was tomorrow and argued with him. And the bloke had to just have the penny drop as he realised it's just a couple hours after the match. And he's went to his morning's graft. And all his work gear and his fucking steel toe cap boots to pull that kitchen hood. And currently, I got to tell, because I've got an update off him this morning, he's currently sheepishly in the kitchen, doing the graft. New.
I would have loved to have. I wonder, do you know what he said? Like when he realised, was he just like, "Oh God," or?
So Woodsy texts us a previous commentary from his mate's WhatsApp group. So let's find that what he said to them. I was like, we weren't expecting you till tomorrow. He said, nah, I'll just get it cracked out this morning. And I was like, Steve, you know it's Sunday night, right? And he straight up didn't believe me till he looked at the date on his phone.
Oh, God, poor bloke.
Like, I've been fucking...
But poor bloke, but also, in a way, is that not kind of... You know those moments, right, when you're sleeping and you fucking, for whatever reason... Like, let's say you've got to wake up at 7 in the morning because you've got a flight. You go to bed at 11 and you wake up at some point in the morning and you go, if this is 6:30, I'm going to be so sad. See if I've woken up half an hour before my alarm. Like, there's nothing worse. That's got a horrible feeling of, I've just interrupted my own fucking sleep. And then you roll over and you look at the clock and it says 2:30 and you go, fucking get it.
You've got hours.
Aye. I hope he got a little bit of that. Like, once he got past the initial embarrassment of, I'm a big giant idiot who now has to get a fucking taxi home because I'm definitely drunk. I'll just leave the van here, to be honest, mate.
Like I say, Cat was kind of like, he's left his stuff here, but he's not coming back. Like, that guy isn't going to make it into work before. Like, I was thinking, like, maybe he should respect that he always turns up to work.
He does, aye. If anyone's going to turn up to work tomorrow, it's going to be this bloke.
But just saying this morning, she's sheepish, but she's got tons of respect for him. He's like, he's a proper geezer. Even though he absolutely wasn't handling his shit.
Aye.
He was handling his shit.
He did his job. He fucking pulled up his bootstraps. And then he got an extra 11-hour kip.
A lot of people that wake up at 8 in the morning for work, right, feeling 8 p.m. day drunk, would phone in sick.
Yeah. Aye.
That was.
Sorry, I can't. And also, but maybe had that thing of, which I imagine lots of people are going to have during football tournaments, is your boss is never, ever, 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 ever going to believe you're fucking ill after your football team plays. Ever. No matter, even, man, you could legitimately get, like, long COVID. Like, stuff that fucking bedridden you. If Cara, right, just after the fucking game, for whatever reason, she has to go into the office today. Let's say, God forbid, she gets fucking COVID because she's the only one in the house that's not had her fucking vaccine yet. She wakes up tomorrow.
That's how young she is.
Aye. She wakes up and she's just all groggy and she's tired and she's coughing and she can barely open her eyes. She has to phone up. I can't come in today. I've got COVID. Do you fuck? No, Billy Gilmore scored 2 goals yesterday. I know why you feel like that. Yeah, no, I swear.
Aye. I got vaccinated and fucking I'd never even heard of the type of vaccination.
No, I think so. They guinea pigged you.
What?
They guinea pigged you.
Did I?
They just made one up on the
I was
spot.
like, I've heard of a couple of them. Like, there's the Pfizer and there's AstraZeneca and that, and I was like, and I
Johnson and Johnson.
Johnson and Johnson. And now the AstraZeneca one's like, is that the one that's crippling people? But I was just like, I'm fucking nails me. Like, I'm probably not even short on my radar. That shit. I've guessed Rose just leave up and went, oh, you've got you like the Macarena or something. Maradona, I think it was called. Moderna. I think Moderna.
I thought there was only 3.
Is that even for COVID, is it? Will that come from me tetanus or something? Is that
what I've done is I've put some Calpol in a syringe.
and put it in my mouth. So, I got
did you have any side effects?
You know what? I got jabbed with that and they didn't even give us a certificate.
No, I didn't get a certificate.
Did you not? Is that a Scottish thing? Because Marlene has told us since that you go on and you can download a certificate.
Oh, okay.
But like, Natalie, because this is the way I booked it in, I hadn't heard about me thing, right? I got a message saying I've got to log on to this portal and book me vaccine in, and I've done it, and it says there's no bookings available, don't ring the number because they just use this system too.
Right.
And I was like, oh, I'll check back later. And Natalie went, hey, you seen this? If you text this number or something, it's like saying like, I can't remember what it was. If you just text this number, it'll find your booking on the system and it'll send you it, right? And I'd done that and it sent us it. And I was like, that just feels far too convenient. And then I went to this place that gives a vaccine I'd never heard of and didn't get a certificate. And I was like, Natalie, I was like, is this a weird scam?
Is this the one, we didn't pay to do it, so it's not a money thing, but are we legitimately just being tested on unwittingly here? Are we the trials? Did I sign up to a trial?
I was like, I went through a completely different protocol to everybody else to get the vaccine and then got a vaccine I'd never heard of and didn't get a certificate at the end of it. I was like, whatever. Whatever, I'll just deal with that.
I can't remember if I've told this story in the podcast, so do stop me if I did. But so when I was getting my vaccine, right, so, because it's nearby, I just got big, and I heard that the queues were long. Like, my friend, I was about to say Cara's friend, Jill. My
friend Jill.
Yeah. But the thing was, I was about to say Cara's friend's Jill's boyfriend, whereas I should just say my friend Grant.
Yeah.
Like I went through 2 women to go back to.
Yeah, that's why you couldn't even say he was your friend because there was 2 women in the way.
But because me and Grant really really get on, but because we're blokes and because it's our partners that are friends with each other, me and Grant don't text each other. We know about each other's lives because Cara will be like, so Jill was saying that this happened to Grant today, and that's why I go through Cara's friend Jill. Grant. Anyway, he was saying like he had to wait like an hour in the queue, and he was like, "Fucking take a book or something. Like it's just gonna be dead boring." I'm like, "I don't need to take a book. I just get fucking baked beforehand. I can stand in the queue and just watch fucking Critical Role videos for the whole time." So I'm in the queue, stoned at me fucking noggin. I'm watching fucking Critical Role, and then it's just some guy, lovely old man, just sort of taps me on the knee and goes, "Oh, you've got to move forward." And I'm like, "Oh, sorry." I go up there. And all the staff are really, really nice. And like, how are you? And I'm good. And they go, is this your first or your second? And goes, my first dose. And they go, okay. And I'd heard all the horrors about like people that AstraZeneca, they were feeling tired afterwards. And that's, and I was like, oh God, I really hope I get the Pfizer one because I know people have had Pfizer and they said it's just a sore arm. And she goes, what we're going to do is going to put you down for the Pfizer one. And what I wanted to say and what I meant to say was, that's lovely. Thank you. Bye. But what I actually said was, she went, you get the Pfizer one. It's just down there on the left. And I went, cool, love you, bye. Like in front of a queue. Just...
You have told us that. You have told us that. You fucking... What did you do? Like,
I didn't look.
You just got the fuck out of there.
It's like when you call the teacher mum. Like, you just get as far away from that fucking situation as possible and hope nobody fucking... That is me. Just dead excited to get me Love you, but maybe it made her day.
I bled quite a bit when she pulled the needle out.
Aye.
Just blood started trickling through my arm, and that was. What's this?
She just put a leech on top to suck the blood. You're like, hold on, this definitely isn't the COVID fucking trials. This is bullshit.
Why is this in a fucking gazebo in the woods?
So you just have a sore arm the next day?
I just felt like I'd been punched on the arm.
Aye.
So it was grand. It was alright. So someone tweeted, I don't know who it was like that someone had been retweeted and it was doing the rounds with like loads of metal items, like blue tack or whatever to their face, like forks and all that, with the quote, "I've just had my vaccine." That's my absolute favourite. Because everyone's like, "Oh, I've just been injected with a 5G," or like, I've got my chip and all that, and it's like quite it's becoming muggly. For people to do that.
Man, there's a really, really horrible part of me that like just wishes COVID was more dangerous just so that people don't get the vaccine die. Imagine that, we just finally had a plague that just killed all the anti-vaxxers. How class that would be for the future of humanity.
I mean, theoretically, that should be all plagues.
Aye, but...
really. So it kind of validates the point that that's still here.
And also, don't get me wrong, I understand people's like skepticism. Like, if you've got very basic critical thinking skills where they're like, well, right, so like the fucking polio vaccine took like 10 years to make and perfect, whatever, and I'm supposed to believe that like this vaccine came out in 3 months. I'm like, there was like, I'm going to say 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 scientists working on the polio vaccine over the course of the years, because it was, well, polio is a bad example because we did have that in the UK, but it's a terrible example.
These vaccines, a lot of these vaccines, like, done in the fucking 80s.
Aye.
Like, in 2021, man, it's like a fucking lot, like...
And it was a fucking pandemic. Man, the world was shut. Every scientist in the world got a fucking back call and was like, drop whatever you... No, fuck cancer. It's not about cancer anymore. Yeah. We need the economy fucking open. Cure this, and that's why.
And then they'll be like, and they haven't done like a long enough trial to find out the long-term effects of it, and then puff on their vape.
Also, like, I get the skepticism, but just when there's just that many people that fucking have had it done at this point, where you're like, how paranoid are you that you think 99% of your friends are lying to you? Just fucking get it, man. But it's not fully effective. Man, it doesn't matter. It's just not effective. It's a fucking jab in your arm. Get it and the world will open. Like, the sooner we all get it, the sooner we go back to fucking normal. Just do it. You fucking wimp.
We're getting pushed back a few weeks, aren't we? We're meant to be reopening on the 21st, but I think it's happening in July now.
Aye.
Is that confirmed yet?
No. So Bojo's meant to do a fucking thing tonight, but that's for those cunts down south. It's not for us. Nicolas doing one tomorrow.
We are always way more cautious up here.
Yeah. We very much use England as the guinea pigs.
The canary down the main.
Yeah, they're like, London's opening up, Canary will open up. No. Let's see what happens after London opens up, and then we'll decide.
Which sucks for watching people just enjoying themselves across the border.
But
also, like, you get,
Aye. And also, I should also say this, just, there are people out there who fucking, because of being high risk and stuff, who are still in some form of lockdown and isolation, and fucking fair play to you. What a shiter! Like, my deepest sympathies.
If you're still isolating and shielding,
yeah. And if you're in a country that's in there's other countries that are still in fucking stricter lockdowns than we are, where it's still fucking tearing through. I mean, we've definitely got listeners in India where it's fucking rampant. So
we hope this podcast is offering you some light relief through this tough time. We recommend you sign up for the Patreon and you can get bonus episodes once a week and Rewind Wednesdays every Wednesday.
And if you're from India, I'm very sorry that a lot of stupid people in our country won't take the vaccine that you are fucking desperate for. Really shows you just the privilege.
Aye, yeah, that's a fucking thing when there's people who are just like, oh, we can't get a vaccine for like fucking love no money. Aye. And then there's people who are just getting insisted on it, having it for free. Aye. And I just like, wow, I just don't think, have some respect, man. If that's you, have a little bit of respect.
Just get a needle in your arm, you fucking gimp. Just do it.
That is, we have just done eat your greens.
Eat, come on.
There's children starving in Africa.
That's man. That I think that tactic, like that was a tactic that was in the older generation of parenting that fundamentally did not work. Like forcing kids to eat their food, I think is like fucking smacking. Like you're like, it worked. You go, it worked, but it gave kids issues because my gran on my mum's side, who I love fucking dearly, but she was strict as fucking shit, right? She was a mother of 3, and she was a teacher during the 60s and 70s, and she was lived in World War II when they rationed things, right? So she was like, you're not leaving the table until you finish that. And I would literally sit there for 90 minutes to 2 hours.
I'd rather sit at this table than eat it.
But I would just, man, I'd just be sitting there just crying over food, being like, I do not want to eat these fucking peas. I hate peas. Just sobbing, and she'd be like, nope.
You know what as well?
And now, I still don't fucking eat peas.
I bet you there's so much psychology to it, right? You know, when you can, right, eat them vegetables or you're not getting your dessert, right? You're instantly telling that child that that's bad and that's good. I bet you, right, as a child, if you come up and went, finish your dessert or you're not getting your greens.
Aye.
Like, the kids would probably just like go, well, I'm going to leave the dessert, I'm going to eat the greens.
We just give them a bit of celery. Here's a treat, and they'll be like, "Oh, I guess it's a treat. Yum yum yum." Idiots. Also, colourful stuff. Like, just get them fucking strawberries and bloobs and
Yeah, like what Mari's doing with Sonny's, just putting like food down in front, like put like an orange in a dummy where it's on the mesh, so like they can just chew on it. Or put like a bit of, I can't remember what it was now because I didn't know what
cucumber.
It was a cucumber. Just put it down in front of him.
Aye.
And like he get that and figure out what to do with it. I'm not gonna like aeroplane it. I'm not gonna like do anything to force you to do it. I'm not gonna make you think it's good or bad. I'm just gonna put that there.
I'm gonna make you understand that when you're hungry, there's things that you can put in your mouth that make you feel not hungry.
Yes,
aye.
I
think that's a
we saw some babies on.
We saw great babies. We saw.
I was trying to think what day was it. The days are relevant. On the weekend,
freshly squeezed babies.
Beautifully healthy babies.
Aye. So your brother Gav, you became an uncle for the second time.
Yes, I did.
Gav had his first one.
Fucking melt when I say, man, I get overcome with emotion.
I mean, she is gorgeous. As is, should say, Canon.
And I met Canon's baby for the first time, and I was just like, "This is me pal."
Aye.
You know what I mean? Like Eli's me pal's mate.
Aye.
So like I got a photo of me and Karen. I was just like, I'm gonna have so many good times with these two, man. Like, it's gotta be meant.
Me and Cara were thinking about that. So a friend of mine, one of my childhood friends, I'm not going to say his name on the podcast yet because they've not announced that they're pregnant yet, but they've told us that they are. But they're pregnant, and by the time me and Cara get married in 2023, this baby, which is due later on this year, will be like 1.5 by the time the wedding's on. And obviously the baby's invited to the wedding because me and Cara are like, kids can come to the wedding, we're going to set up a massive creche, but we don't want people that we love not be able to come because their kids, who we also love, might ruin the thing. We're like, no, fucking bring all your kids. We can give a shit. We'll set up a fucking bouncy castle, be a thing in there. But there's a person that doesn't exist yet that I love to bits that's going to be at my wedding.
Aye.
And that's mad.
This is what it is. It's exactly what it is, right? With Jack and Eli, right? They've become front and centre in this group that's hard to get into.
Aye.
Like I've long on the tooth now for making new friends sometimes. Like I will make new friends, right? But as far as like me core group guys, I've got too much history with people for anybody to fucking jump the queue on this group of friends, right? You've got at least a decade's worth of fucking solid being me mate before you can get anywhere near
the top 25.
The top 25 of my friendship group, right? And they have just fucking come into the world and they're instantly right at the front and centre of my world.
Aye, they just take fucking priority, man. And then also, it's very, very...
They better be sound.
Aye, they were the babies when they're at that stage. It's the time of I mean, I was about to say I feel sorry for the dads. Obviously, the priority of all my sympathy goes towards the mothers and the horrendous. Like, I've heard so many horrific birth stories in the past 6 months, just because so many of our friends are popping out stuff. And there's complications, as they always are. All the mothers are now healthy and fine, but you just hear
even the ones that are like relatively, and I don't want to use the word easy, even the ones that are relatively free of complication sound horrendous.
But they're just like, so yeah, there's just baby's head's a bit too big, so we're going to cut your vagina to your asshole with this pair of scissors. And you're like, fuck, they did what? They did who to what? Where? I'm pretty sure I saw them do that in the Edinburgh dungeon. Like, that's something that we out there.
That's bacon hair.
This is, it's... Aye, what women go through from the stories I've heard. Because, man, I had a bit that I really liked doing where just after a woman's given birth to their friends to me, and they're talking about it, and I'm like, can you just be honest with me? And it doesn't actually hurt, right? So it's just like, while you're down there, the nurse comes in and she whispers in your ear, we need you to make a big kick and fuss about this, because it's the only way we can get sympathy out of those rock hard bastards back there. So just fucking ham it up. Have you ever watched Animal Planet? Have you ever seen a giraffe give birth? Do they fucking scream?
It's the biggest pact of all time.
It's the biggest pack. We're all in on it. We're just gaslighting the men into thinking this is shit. I've really lost the ability to do that a bit over the past couple of months.
Yeah, you can't even just do it with your tongue in your cheek, even though you know it's not true. It's not true, and that's why it's funny, right? You can't even just like joke about it. It's not for joking about.
My 3-minute stupid skit for my own amusement doesn't trump your 16-hour labour. Even close.
I got a fucking an actual death stare off Natalie for cracking a joke, which was clearly a joke, but it was about how exhausted everybody was after their childbirth with with Karen and Amy and Gav and Ali, and they just were in such a daze for the first week of this child's life, because Karen was going, you start the season on -10 points, the pair of you are just fucking so drained that if you started off with a fighting chance of being awake and alert and your decision making on point, you'd be fine. So I guess Natalie, so what have we learned then? While you're giving birth, I would have to be having a spa day, getting some rest, just so that at least when the baby gets here, you can get to bed and I feel fresh as fuck. Put that out there with a fucking just a tongue-in-cheek joke, right? But as if I was the joke was that I'm thinking with the right side of my brain that's logical and rational, which because it would be the right thing to be, really, right? But just even the joke of not having solidarity as she went through that was she was just looking at us even if you're joking, it's fucking don't joke like that.
The sympathy.
I know I was. That sounded like I was talking Natalie was pregnant, and when you said one of my friends is pregnant, but I don't want to say their name yet, I just want to make it absolutely clear here: we're not pregnant.
Well, I've got some news for you.
Natalie probably would tell you first.
No, it's mine.
That's why she would tell you.
Fair enough. I was just going to say, I feel really sympathy for dads in the first month to 2 months of that baby being born. It does not give a fucking shit about anyone other than mum, because that's food. It's the life source. That's it. It's it. And and again, this is not really comparable to what women go through. That's not the comparison I'm making here. But you're so excited. You wait 9 months. You read all the fucking books, and you're ready to be a fucking dad. And then there's times when your wife just has to go to bed because she's tired and she's exhausted and everything. And you're just there with this baby just staring at you, being like, who the fucking shit are you? What's this? And Gav, I was talking to Gav because
you're just a car seat.
You're just the other one that helps occasionally. But Gav and Milo had said the same thing as well, and he's like, it's the second you get the first smile out of them, the second they smile at you, the dad, and that's after 6, 7, 8, 9 weeks, whatever it is. That's when you go, oh, okay, there's now I'm getting more of the fucking instincts here, as opposed to there's an exploding ball of shit that cries that thinks I'm a cunt. I helped make it, but I keep saying that to him, but he doesn't seem to understand.
My sole role seems to be to keep it away from its food source.
Yeah, why are you letting her lay down? She's making more milk, you ungrateful little shit.
I can't explain.
To everyone that's come out to our shows over the past couple of weeks, thank you very much. They've been socially distanced in the UK, but fucking hell.
Thanks for making them fun. Because they shouldn't be fun.
They really shouldn't. The Time Theatre gigs, the Leeds gigs, the Manchester gigs especially, they've all just been so... They've been 25% capacity, but the rooms have fucking felt full.
You know what? We've looked out from the wings and seen how much empty space there is, even though it's sold out within the limits. We'll look out and go, was it the Newcastle one where I went, imagine this wasn't lockdown and we looked out and saw that.
Oh man, it would
be fucking literal devastation, wouldn't it?
Absolutely. It would take us back 10 years.
You would feel like a failure. You would be like, oh god, why, how did we get this so wrong? where did we lose everybody? But the fact is, it shouldn't be good, but there's been so much fun. People have made up for the empty space with the goodwill in the room.
We've got more shows coming up. We've got Portsmouth on June 17th. We've got 2 shows in Brighton on June the 19th. There's another Newcastle show.
Oh, nice.
We go back to the Town Theatre?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay, well, there you go. 23rd, 2 shows in Bristol.
Is that a mistake?
I don't know.
Maybe they split it into 5 gigs and they couldn't get all 5 in that weekend.
I mean, we'll have to fucking check the schedule. I didn't think we were.
This is one for our agent.
Sorry.
Yeah, so Town Theatre. We've also got Barnard Castle in the northeast, haven't we?
Yes, on July the 3rd, after Halifax on the 2nd.
Nice. And also, let's plug the Patreon.
Yeah.
Thank you to all the patrons who have already signed up. You're driving this podcast. These wouldn't be happening as frequently as they are without you. And I hope you're enjoying the bonus content you get every Thursday. So thank you to you and also to anybody else that's considering and you're sitting on the fence. I think now's a good time to do it.
There you go. You didn't do your homework, did you?
Well, I was busy doing it, and you fucking snitched on us. Remember at the beginning when you snitched and you cut us off? Maybe he's wrote 2.
Your dad lights candles by lighting his farts from a distance. His record is 3.5 metres, but it was only lit for a second before his diarrhoea snuffed it. And that's what he thinks snuff films are.
Your dad sprayed pesticide on his plants and now he can't go anywhere near them.
Your dad breeds kittens, but when they're freshly born, he rubs them on his shirt to produce static electricity to stick them to the ceiling, and any that don't land on their feet he sells as dogs.
Your dad shows his teeth to people when he's angry, but more like a dog eating peanut butter kind of way.
Your dad sits down in elevators because he's scared of heights.
Your dad microdoses Viagra, so he lives in a constant state of Semyon.
Semyon Blanc.
Semyon Blanc, what's his nickname?
Your dad thinks wet dreams are the ones where you wake up crying and he keeps bragging about them. Still got it, baby. 50 years old, still having wet dreams. And your dad meditates to the sounds of babies crying.
Oh, God. Lock that man up immediately.
Oh. Right, fuck off.
You need to click stop on that.
Oh.